Welcome to Coffee and Gumbo, where we talk about all things hot, spicy, and flavorful.
All right, Coffee and Gumbo, we are back once
What's
again.
up, C&G fam? What's up? What's up?
Your girls are back with another spicy topic of conversation, and we're
back
for tonight. So with that being said, Stacy, this topic, I'm going to be excited because I really don't have much experience in this area, and I know you do. So I am going to kind of be kind of like our audience, sitting back, asking the questions that maybe people want to know. So I would love to kind of get you to explain to the Coffee and Gumbo crew where are we taking them tonight? What adventure are they going on?
Well, tonight we will be taking you into Greek land.
Oh, Greek land.
Yes, ma'am. So the month of January is a very special month for a few of our historically Black sororities and fraternities. So tonight we'll be visiting and having a few questions for our Greek fraternities and sororities that have Founders Day in the month of January. So we'll be celebrating Founders Day tonight. And we will be talking with some members of our Greek fraternities and sororities.
All right. So we don't have one guest. We don't have two guests. We don't have three guests. We got quite a panel going on here tonight.
That's right. You know it. You already know
representing.
We representing tonight.
And I know that you will be representing the illustrious Delta.
Absolutely.
Yes. And so
absolutely, I gotta represent my sorors.
I'm gonna kind of have you turn that hat around and be on the panel. And I'm gonna ask the questions tonight.
So I don't get to be on the host tonight. I get to be on the panel tonight.
Oh, you pulling double duty. You pulling double duty. All right. So without further ado, I think we need to get our team of Greeks in here so that we can discuss Greek life.
Let's bring them in.
Greek life with a purpose, or Greek with a purpose. What's our title going to be for tonight?
Serving with a purpose.
I love it.
That's what we do. Serving is what we do.
All right, so let's go ahead, guys. We're going to bring our panel in, and as always, we're going to want you guys to give them that C&G love. So without further ado, let's bring them in. All right, we're back again with our panel of experts on our topic tonight. Look at this beautiful screen here with all this beautiful melanin popping. All right, so we are getting ready to get into it and talk about Greek life with a purpose. And so to begin, I would like to take a minute and have each of you introduce yourself and your organization to the C&G family. I'm going to defer to my co-host first, since she is my co-host, and have her to speak on behalf of her organization. So Stacy, take it away.
Well, y'all already know who I am, C&G fam. I am your awesome co-host, and I am here representing the illustrious sorors of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
All right. Let's keep it rolling. Seth.
All right. So I'm Seth Archangel. I'm a member of the Theta Lambda chapter, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated.
All right. Next up, Mr. Bobby. You ready?
Hey, this is Bobby Ray, member of Phi Beta Sigma Incorporated, Kappa Kappa chapter, Monroe, Louisiana, Spring 95.
All right. Big ups. Dr. Tanya.
Well, hello. I am a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, the Theta Theta Zeta chapter in Hammond, Louisiana.
Okay, big ups. Next, we have Dr. Jannis.
Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Jannis Moody. I am a member of the First and Finest, the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and I'm a member of the Mu Kappa Omega chapter here in Missouri City, Texas. Mo City Rock Stars.
Okay, and last but never least, Mr. Troy.
Yes, ma'am. It's Troy Johnson, member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Delta Z chapter. It's Albany State, Georgia.
All right, look at this. Look at this. This is so exciting to have all this representation in the house. Well, since I'm in charge tonight, I have a lot of questions coming from someone who did not pledge. I am so excited to get these questions answered. I know a lot of people, inquiring minds want to know, you know, it feels like there's like not a secretiveness, but there's an aura about Greek life that a lot of us who didn't have the opportunity, you know, we wonder about. So I definitely have quite a few questions. And so I'm just going to throw these questions out, and then I'll just randomly call on a few of you, put you on the spot. So I hope y'all ready. So the first
First of all, I would.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Stacy.
I'm sorry. I mean, a few of us did mention the chapters that we were from, but I would like for everybody to talk about what year they pledged or how long they've been in the organization. So let's start with Seth.
All right, so I'm spring 23. I ain't even make a year yet. So I'm
we got the new perspective. I love it. Okay. Bobby?
It'll be 29 years in March.
Oh, okay. We're going from one extreme to the other. Okay. Dr. Tanya, how long have you been in?
This would be my 15th year. I came in 2009. So
okay, Bobby. So far you have the edge here. Let's keep it going. Let's see. Dr. Jannis.
Actually, I am legacy, but spring 22.
Okay. All right. Troy, where you land at?
The Captivator, Delta Z, spring 1992. I'm going on 32 years.
Oh, sorry, Bobby. He edged you out, I think. Okay.
Okay with that.
And you win, Troy. You get that award. No. There is no prize, but you get that award. You get a high. Raise my hand to you. That's a long time. All right. Okay. Well, that is good to know. We're going to have a lot of different perspectives on some of these questions. So I'm just going to get right in. I want to know, what is the best part about being a member of your specific organization? So we're going to go a little bit different here. Let's start with Troy, since he is the elder statesman of this group. What's the best part about being in your organization?
I would say it's a family. You know, we really stick together. You know, no matter where I go, I'm gonna run into a bro, and it's a networking thing. You know, people on your job, people in the community, just anywhere. I might just fly out somewhere and I run into my fraternity members. So it's a family. That's what I can say.
All right, Bobby, what would you say? Anything different? Any other perspective there?
Well, I definitely agree with him on it being a family, and it's definitely a huge networking opportunity. Also, just the simple fact that most fraternities and sororities believe in education and scholarship and service, which is community service. And, you know, that's one of the things that I really focus on, being able to give back to the community, being able to help younger people make less mistakes, you know, to advance themselves further and faster. Those are the things that I care about, and that's things that a lot of the fraternities and sororities work for and put in a lot of effort to maintain those activities. So definitely the family environment, but also the service and the education portion of it.
Okay. Dr. Tanya, what are you thinking over there? I saw that smile.
The same thing as my brother. I was like, oh, our answers are going to be similar. But it is true. Networking and serving our communities is very, very important. And one thing that I have tasked myself or challenged myself to do is that each conference that I attend, our national conference, I try to add 5 new sisters to my contact list. And that has helped me over the years. I mean, to grow, just I have a wealth of people in my contacts now that I can reach out just from all over the country. And so I enjoy that foremost is the networking.
Okay. Dr. Jannis, same thing, or you got anything else you want to add to it?
I'd say primarily the same thing. I had already, as I was already an established professional by the time I pledged. So it's a bunch of the stuff I had an opportunity to engage in prior to membership, but I really didn't know how steep the history was and the things that I was already interested in doing. So having an opportunity to be able to expand the concentration of the work that I was already doing, the impact, and really get a sense I'm a psychologist, but I'm not a business person, and trying to figure out how to make, the most out of what it was that we've been individually doing. And the sisterhood, you can't beat it. And just the opportunity to connect with other folks who have professional backgrounds, who are doing, even if it's other work, we have the opportunity to connect and figure out how we can collectively work towards the same goals, and to see the difference that it makes across our communities at large. Can't beat it. Yeah.
Okay. And Seth, I know you're new to the game, but I'm sure that you got something to say on this topic. But what's the best part for you?
I'm still young, so I like to stroll. So. No, but besides strolling, I like it's Greek life puts in a lot of different rooms of opportunity, and it allows you to, not just in your organization, but it allows you to get in rooms with other people too that may be in other than our organization.
That's a good point. Being in rooms that can be life changing, business changing. It can change a lot being in the right room. So that's a great answer. Stacy, you want to round us out on that question?
I agree with what everybody has said. Everything about it, the sisterhood is awesome. And also being able to collectively, like she said, help one another. It's because I'm on the scholarship committee in my chapter, and it is so rewarding to be able to award those scholarships to those young men and women going off to college. It's just a great thing. So I agree.
This is all great answers, guys. Okay, so I'm going to pivot a little bit, and I'm going to come to you, Dr. Jannis, on this one first, because your legacy. So it really makes me want to know what made you choose, one, to go into a sorority, and two, what was it about your organization that made you choose that organization?
Honestly, I hadn't paid attention to the value of it for real, because both my mom and my godmother, they were AKs. And so I was kind of raised with the principles, the values, and it was a norm for me. And it wasn't until I got to college and was introduced to people who belonged to different groups and subscribed to different stuff, kind of had, what some of the differences were. And honestly, at that point, was like, oh, okay, this is all cute. But AKA's legacy stuff resonated more with me, because that was kind of, what I was reared under. The values and stuff made sense to me. And those are that at that point, that's what I decided that I might be more interested in. But interestingly enough, I wasn't particularly interested in what it looked like on an undergraduate level. It was a little different. And so I didn't pledge until, like I said, 22. And at that point, what I wanted to do to lay the foundation for my own professional life, my professional life and personal lives, they converge. So, it's the mental health stuff for us, because I see the difference it makes for our communities, as well as a social justice piece. And I hadn't known about how steep the AK's history was, and, the difference that we've made in like the civil rights work and the social justice platforms. was like, oh, wait, this is a no-brainer. This is where I need to be. This is what I need to do. And when I saw like really quickly how many people who were doing very similar work that I was, who were already a part of the organization, then it just made perfect sense for me to align myself and what I was doing with the group such that I'd be able to add to that. Now, honestly, I kind of had given a serious look to, some other organizations while I was coming up, especially as it related to education. But at the same time, when it came down to it, I was like, okay, well, this feels more like home. And so when it was time, because trust me, y'all, it had to be time. And I, for the most part, got snatched up. And I was like, oh, okay, well, this is what I was supposed to do right now anyway, and it works. So yeah, that's how it happened.
Okay. All right. Let's take that same question over to Bobby. What was it about your organization that
Bobby got an
called
interesting
you?
story.
Well, I actually went to every rush on campus. I wanted to learn the stuff. So like when I was growing up, I only knew about the Qs and the Kappas, right? Those were the only programs that was in the schools that I went to. So I knew about those different fraternities, right? So when I got to college and I started going through matriculating through, ended up going to different rushes. I went to Kappas, I went to Alphas, I went to the Omegas, and I went to the Sigmas. That was pre-iota, so no knock against them. But that was pre that time, so they were just now really showing up around that time. But I went to check out everybody, just to see what the personalities was like, the people that was involved in it, and I was friends with a lot of people that was in different fraternities also. The one thing that made me pledge Sigma was a lot of people that I was around, just kicking it with, just on a regular basis, were actually Sigmas. I didn't know it. They didn't wear Perry. I was in classes with a lot of them. So when I went to the rush, it was I was like shocked. I'm like, hey, dang, I got a class with this homie right here. I shoot intramural ball with this cat right here. So it was like people that I dealt with on a daily basis that didn't really I never would have put them in a fraternity or thought that they was in a fraternity, but they were so cool. So that was pretty much how that happened, playing dominoes in dorm rooms and spades in dorm rooms and stuff. And of course, you dealing with a lot of different people that's in a lot of different organizations, so you get used to it. But you're not thinking like, hey, and I never was the guy that was like, oh, I'm a pledge, because I don't have a legacy. My dad wasn't a Sigma. I didn't even really know anybody that was I knew people that was in fraternities, but I didn't know any older people that was in fraternity that could like guide me or anything like that. So once I did start looking at it, I was, me and my best friend was roommates. I was like, hey man, thinking about pledging. He was like, well, what you thinking about pledging? I'm like, man, I'm thinking about doing the Sigma thing. And he was like, man, cool. I was like, all right, cool. Next thing you know, we was online.
All right. Sound like that was meant to be. You were placed in the right group and it spoke to you. Okay.
It worked out. Yeah.
Dr. Tanya, what was it about your group that pulled you right on in there?
Well, I learned about the organization while in college at Grambling State University. But I didn't join then. I waited, but I had a lot of friends in the organization, and I just enjoyed seeing them do their service work. The whole scholarship piece was important to me. And so once I graduated, it was later in life, I ended up talking and meeting friends and just women in the community that I didn't know at the time that they were Zetas, then later learned that they were Zetas. And I was like, this is where I need to be and where I want to be, because it would help me to continue the service work that I was already doing in my adult life, So I was like, this is the best fit for me to continue my service work and to do it on a larger scale by being a part of the organization. So I ended up joining Zeta.
All right. Seth, we know you over there having fun. But what was it about your fraternity that made you feel like this is where I need to be?
Oh wow. I'm a legacy too, so growing up, that's kind of what I seen. I used to see certain things on like t-shirts, and I used to wonder what that meant. So I was curious, and then it was kind of that's really all I knew.
Okay. Right. Troy?
Well, I didn't come from a family of Greeks, so I never knew nothing about Greek life until I went to college. You know, my sister pledged AKA back in '91 before me, so that kind of gave me the thought. I was like, hey, what is this? So that made me, you know, I saw the guys on the yard, you know, we had all Greeks. We didn't have Iota or Sigma Gamma Rho, but we had everybody else there. So, but when I saw the Kappas walking around, I said, that's what I want to do. So it was that easy.
All right. Not a second thought that had to happen, huh? All right.
Not at all.
Okay, Stacy, what drew you to the Deltas?
You know, I didn't come from legacy either, but I did have a family member that from younger would put Delta in my ear every time she got the opportunity to put it in my ear. And then when I went to college, I was around AKAs a little bit. So, you know, I was still kind of on the edge of what I wanted to do. And then afterwards, you know, of course, I had to follow in the footsteps of my family because I have a lot of family members that are members of Delta Sigma Theta. So, yeah, so that's kind of what led me towards that way.
That's interesting. We got quite a few different ways in which decisions were made. So that's interesting to hear, you know, what it was that impacted the decision in going into your various organizations. Yeah. So with that said, we're going to pivot a little bit because Founders Day is on its way. And when I go on social media, that's all I'm seeing is different post about what's to come. So I would love to hear if you've already celebrated Founders Day. How did you celebrate? And if it's coming up for you, how do you plan on celebrating Founders Day? Let's start with Dr. Tanya. Dr. Tanya, I'm sorry.
Yes, well, our Founders Day is in 2 days. It's January 16th. And what we're going to do in honor of our founders is a worship service. So my graduate chapter, along with our undergraduate members, are going to attend service together. Then after our church service, we're going to have a celebratory luncheon. We're going to have a photo shoot and just enjoy each other for that day. But most of all, we look at our worship service as an opportunity and a time for us to give thanks to God for the fortitude of our founders and asking God for strength to continue their legacy that they left behind for us. We also want strength to just continue being unwavering in our efforts for Zeta Phi Beta sorority. And so that's what we're going to do. And then on a personal side, with some of my closest sisters, we had a photo shoot today. Okay. So we're going to drop some pictures coming on the 16th. So we have TikToks and everything going on our little personal level. But yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Actually have a good time. And that, again, it's just the sisterhood, you know, and it gives us an opportunity to spend time with each other, to celebrate all of the hard work that we have put into the organization throughout the course of the sorority year. So, yeah.
All right. Seth, I want to know, how do you celebrate Founders Day for someone who's on campus, who's
we went to
young
me and my line brothers we went to Shreveport, and we had like a little outing in Shreveport. It wasn't too much.
Is it one of those what happens in Shreveport stays in Shreveport?
Nah, it wasn't like that.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, Dr. Jannis.
You can talk about it. I won't tell.
Nah, see, I got off of that real fast. Let me move on.
So let the sleeping dogs lie.
How will you celebrate?
There are honestly, we have a bunch of stuff happening throughout just the Houston area. our chapter engages in a bunch of service activities that happen across the weekend. There is a United Way book drive. There's a toiletry and a donation drive for two separate shelters that provide services for people who are homeless or kind of in transition. So we've got two donation drives happening with that kind of stuff. We have rededication for sisters who have perhaps been out of financial membership, so to speak. Brunches, get-togethers,
Wow.
worship services. So it's one of the things me and my one of my sorors this month are like, okay, we have to figure out which ones we can actually do because the city is so spread out. Trying to figure out if you can make this one, if you're here, how long you're gonna stay before you get across town to this one too. So not only is our chapter hosting a bunch of stuff, but there's also the Houston Metro chapters that's got a couple of, no, not this weekend. Their stuff is later on in the month. We got a bunch of stuff going on across the entire city. So, and the good thing about it is I really, really enjoy having a good time being able to even engage in the community service work in and of itself. So it's the sisterhood putting that stuff together, but also to see the difference that it makes to the people that we're providing the services for. And, a lot of times we're dealing with folks who, we kind of adopt, like, certain shelters, and there's certain environments where there's senior living. And so they look for us to come, and you have an opportunity to establish relationships with folks like that. So it always makes it feel like, okay, y'all, we do a lot of work, but this is the stuff that actually makes it count. So yeah, I'm still trying to parse and see how much of my something-year-old energy is gonna let me gauge
So
by the time we get to Tuesday.
Trying to pick which one that you're going to attend.
But yeah, which ones? Yeah, because we're all over the place. Yeah.
Troy, any specific things you're going to do to celebrate, or have you already celebrated?
Our Founders Day was January 5th. But I didn't. I had my son here with me, so I didn't do absolutely nothing but sit on the couch and watch TV.
Well, he's being honest about it. Okay. Bobby, what's your plans?
Oh yeah, I'll pass already.
Okay.
We had a lot of activity in the city. I didn't do anything. I was under the weather at the time, so I just chilled at the house. I don't have to get out. I'm already Sigma, so I'm Sigma through and through. So it don't matter if I'm sitting on the couch or out in them streets. I'm always gonna represent the blue and white.
That's right. You're doing it all year long, huh?
That's right.
One day. I hear you. All right, Stacy. What is going on with the Deltas? What are y'all doing for Founders?
Oh, the Deltas did a lot for Founders Day, of course. They were all over the place, from Prospect Park to whatever, all kinds of stuff going on. But of course, I'm not one to do all of that stuff. I don't like being out in crowds, and I just don't like being out like that. So I did attend a rededication ceremony online, and I did reach out to some of my line sisters, but that's about all I did.
Okay. Now, this next question, I'm just going to kind of let whoever wants to speak on it. I know when we first started, you guys talked about, some of the reasons why, what was the best part about being in your organizations. But does anybody want to speak on, what's the biggest impact that your organization has had on you? I don't want to put anyone on the spot, so I'm just going to kind of let you raise your hand if you want to speak on that topic, and just say from, your years of being in there, whether they've been a year or 30 something odd years, what has been the biggest impact? Anybody want to go first?
I'll go first. I'm doctor. Okay. One of the biggest things that I got from the fraternity was leadership skills and networking. That is a craft that you have to hone. It's you get a lot of, like Seth said earlier, you get a chance to go into rooms that you normally wouldn't be in. When I pledged, I became, treasurer, then I became vice president, then I became president, then I became president of panel in the council, and when I became president of panel in the council, it opened my eyes to how the university worked, because then you're looking at the other Hellenic Council. You're seeing how they run things. You're seeing how the other side is operating business wise. So now your eyes is open not just to the Black culture, but to that white culture and what that's like. You see the differences, and you try to counterbalance those things, because you it's just so much that you see that you can't really do anything about, but you understand. So you take note of things. And when you get in the older positions, you look back to help the younger frat brothers that are coming up right now. So like a lot of different scholarship programs that we have, or trying to get kids that have their own dorm house or something like that. Those are things that, we didn't have at the time, and now we do. And that is an amazing thing, because you have alumni and you have people that are going back and reaching out to those same chapters that they pledged at, to be able to give them or help them have things that they didn't have at those times. But it was basically getting those leadership skills and becoming the type of person that you needed to be in order to affect that change. Continuing to further your education, continue to be the brother that you're supposed to be, continuing to be those principles that each one of these fraternities and sororities live up to. It's a daily struggle, to live up to these principles. So you have to continue to push forward in those leadership skills that was driven into you at in a short amount of time, actually help you out. And also just the pledging, for the good and the bad part about it. I know Troy can probably speak on this too. At that time, it was a different environment. So the actual pledging, the building of brotherhood, the building of men, Sigma men, or Kappa men, or Alpha or Q guys, the building of these brothers at that time was so distinct, that it was able to build those lasting relationships. You were been in a fraternity for 30 something years, and you still talk to your line brothers almost every day. You got people that pledge you that you still call big bro, even though they only a year or so older than you. So that type of history and that type of time that you spent with these people all stem from not just those leadership skills that you got, but it taught you how to foster those relationships and grow those relationships. And that's one of the best things that I've gotten out of the fraternity so far.
Some people don't talk to their family members every day. You say you talk
exactly.
to your brothers. That's something. That is something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And something that I just recently learned, I did not know, because I had Ashley, my director, he came to me and he had questions. He said he didn't know about all of the things that historically Black Greeks, sororities and fraternities did in the community. And he just wasn't aware about anything. So he was just asking questions. But I did not know, like, all of the white fraternities and sororities, the ones, Bobby, all the ones we saw in school, the Phi Mu and all of them ones, after they leave school, they're done. Wow. I did not know that. Like, they have no grad chapters. They don't exist any further than after college. That's it. I really did not know that. So then I understood why he was curious and had no idea.
It's individualized with the white folks. So they continue their little groups, like of the fraternity. So they like little lines continue on, like they stay friends, but it's nothing else legally that they have to.
Right.
Now there's obligation for them to pay their alumni fees.
Right.
But most of that goes into the donations to the chapter. So you're not paying national or anything like that. You're basically just giving back to the university that you graduated from.
Right. I think that's what they do.
That's how their books be so off balance than what we have in our accounts compared to what they had in their accounts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that. I thought it was the same across the board. Once you were kind of in the fraternity or sorority, it continued on, forever.
No. But that again shows you the power of sisterhood and brotherhood, because even though they don't have anything formal set up, they can still
keep those connections
for, another 20, 30 years.
Okay, who else wants to talk about the big impact
that you I think it's a huge expansion on what it was I was going to mention, or I still will mention, and I think in terms of the differences between what the undergraduate, starting at the undergraduate level and pledging at the graduate level might have to offer, I think that it is particularly important for us to have the kinds of relationships, mentorship, and people who pour into shaping us at that very, very critical developmental stage. So we'll know how we need to show up in our skin in the mainstream environment, and have people who can kind of help us to navigate those particular systems that we're going to have to navigate that do not necessarily have our interests in mind. And so to have the support that you need on that level, I think is very important. And even in terms of, both my parents were Greek. I'm not going to say were, because they still are Greek, Black Greek letter organization members. And so when it comes down to having seen, like I said, I kind of grew up watching what the impact was for them. But because I didn't come up as an undergrad, I pledged as a graduate student, at post-grad rather, because I ain't been a graduate student in years. But I had a very different attraction to what it was that I knew about AKA at the undergraduate level. I saw some of the work, but I had no idea of how deep the history was. When I found out that AKA played a pinnacle role in like the women's suffrage movement, and Eleanor Roosevelt was like the first honorary soror. So it's like, oh, we know what doors we need to go into to be able to make impact. We know who we need to talk to in order to be able to influence political agendas. And the first mobile health clinic, like they saw stuff happening. Like, we took our own stuff from Chicago. We getting ready to go to Mississippi. We're not taking no for an answer. We're going to do what needs to get done. And what you're going to do is get out of the way. So in community mental health, my background and the work that I do is community mental health, and like with the multicultural focus. So I got an understanding what the fight was going to be. You're going to always have a fight because you're going against what are overall the agendas of these larger systems that we work in. And so I had been doing the work, but to find out, like, wait, y'all doing, hold up, wait, the gravity of what the organization has the capacity to do was overwhelming. Like, oh, we get ready to do this, y'all, we're gonna do an assessment, we getting ready to buy this building, and who gonna tell us we can't buy it, and watch we getting ready to do with it. So understanding that there's the potential for Black women to have that level of impact. And I'm like, I do the stuff that I do on, some smaller scales, and I get with some other smaller, like professional organizations or whatever. But when AKA decides it's going to do something, then AKA does something, and the impact is resounding. So to feel like the level of passion that I had could make a contribution to that work, again, it was a no-brainer. And can I tell y'all, it is a very, very well-oiled machine. I'm a psychologist in private practice. I'm not a business person and didn't really care to be a business person. But after having really understood the necessity of excellence in every area, it's made a difference, not only in terms of what I do and, my community service life, but even in my business. So it's like, okay, you got to dot all of the I's and cross all of the T's and not create opportunity for people to not take you serious. We play over here. But when it's about business for real, and you'll recognize that you'll become synonymous with excellence. So being able to emulate that and to be able to participate in the machine that continues to put that out, no brainer.
Okay.
Absolute no brainer.
Awesome.
For me, I think it has impacted me a lot because, of course, growing up an only child, I didn't have any sisters. So the sisterhood was important for me. The sisterhood really, I had to get used to having sisters. I had to get used to the fact that if you need something, you got somebody that you can call. So that was the thing that really, really impacted me, joining a part of Deltas. I was just so happy to have sisters.
All right. Now I'm getting ready to get in your business a little bit, really get in your business and ask two personal questions. So I'm going to take volunteers so that those who would like to stay in the witness protection program on this one can choose to do so. So for those of you that have children, Seth, this question may not be for you. Let's think long-term. This question is way down the road.
Way down the road.
How important is it to you? You know, because I've heard legacy that was a driving force for some of you. How important is it to you for your children to follow in your footsteps? Go right ahead, Dr. Tanya.
Okay, you said how is it important?
How important is it important? How important is it?
Well, I always have been a big proponent of legacy because I believe in death, your name will remain if you have left a legacy for your loved ones. If you have not left a legacy, your name dies when you die. I have one daughter, Emily. I like to call her Amazing Emily. And she is a member of Zeta. She just pledged Zeta in the spring of 23 at Grambling State University through the Psi Beta chapter. So would have been okay with it if she would have selected another sorority. I would have been happy for her and happy for myself because I would have been spending less money. So I would have been less money. But she is following in my footsteps. So I am happy to have her as a legacy. And I know that she's going to make me proud. So yeah, that's what I think about. I think legacy is important. But at the same time, they're our kids, but she had a choice to make. And I told her going to school, you know, it wasn't a thing that you're going to have to pledge the blue and white. I was like, it's your choice. I think that you should go to all the rush, you know, go to each one of the rushes and see whether or not it's the fit for you. And you pick what is the best fit for your personality and what you think you can live with.
That was going to be my second part. Is it important? What if they choose a different organization? Because Stacy made it clear to me that her child doesn't have a choice. And I was like, okay. You know, I kind of mentioned, was she going to pledge AKA? And I was soundly put in my place. Okay.
Yeah, most of my friends,
I'm different.
They thought that I was going to force her, you know, like you don't have a choice, but I didn't do it. But, you know, she was drugged drugged to Zeta events all the time. She was a perlet, you know, she was there. So she really couldn't get around it.
Exactly.
And then after I talked to her, or she called me, like she said, I went to this rush and I know that's not it. And I just smiled to myself. I said, the Greek gods are going to be on my side, so I'm not worried about it. And sure enough, she decided to go the blue and white way. So
okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else have a thought on that topic?
I'm only paying for one. You can pledge whatever you want. You know, it's up to you. Find something that fits your personality, but I'm only paying for one. So, you know, if you ain't rolling with the blue and white, yeah, the money, no green coming that way.
That could have a great impact on the decision making.
Look, if you've grown enough to make your own decisions, you've grown enough to pay for them. You know, like, look, I support you in everything you do, but my money is not going on that side. Sorry.
Right? Yep.
Hey.
Troy, what do you think? What if Justin chooses to do something that what do you think?
Well, my son is 11 right now. I was a late bloomer. But he better make the right decision. All I can say. I mean, I'm gonna support him with whatever, but he know what to do. I'm trying to coach him a little bit now. Talking to a probate show a few weeks ago, and you know he loved it. So I'm just I ain't trying to make him, but I'm trying to steer him in the right direction.
Don't get him his starter cane. Get him his starter cane.
Yeah, I'm getting right. I'm trying to get him to do the shimmy right now.
He got to be prepared. He got to be prepared.
Yeah, you gotta be ready.
Yep,
you gotta be ready.
Okay.
And, I always say, Mila, she already knows. She already know. But I'm gonna tell y'all, if y'all hadn't already guessed it, Seth is a relative, and I've known Seth since before he was born. But when he called and said that he was doing this, I was just so happy, and I knew I had to, because we had talked about it, Seth. And I was just so happy, I had to go there and I had to be there, and I was just so touched just watching him do his thing, and so I'm just so proud of him. So and he said this, like another child to me, like one of my own. So with him and Mila, they already know. They know what to do. They know.
Yeah,
but
I don't have. Oh, good. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't have been mad, Seth, if you wouldn't, I wouldn't have been mad, but
all lies.
She would have been mad.
You did the right thing.
Yeah, you did the right thing.
She would have been mad.
I doubt we'd be seeing you tonight if you hadn't done the right thing.
He will support him no matter what. But
I'm just playing.
I was just gonna say that I don't have a daughter, but I am the auntie in the ear.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm auntie.
I'm like your auntie. I'm the auntie in the ear. My niece, she was with us last night, and she had on a pair of it was a sneaker ball. She had on a pair of Jordans they were green and black, but her laces were red. And another one of my sorors were there, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna have to take care of them red laces.
Ain't gonna work.
That's not gonna work. That ain't gonna work. We gotta get you some pink.
Don't do Ray. Don't do it like that.
It's like, yeah, Ray gotta come through. She gotta carry her legacy. Titi Jannis don't have any girls, so we're gonna get all the way together. And you're carrying the Moody name. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We're gonna get all the way together. Yeah, we're gonna see what my son is gonna do, but he has a lot of Kappa influence. My daddy's a Kappa. His godfather's a Kappa. He's surrounded by him. He has a lot of access and exposure to the values and a lot of the activities and stuff. So I don't know that he's gonna veer far from it. But yeah, my primary concern with him is where you think, what school you think he's going to. That's what our primary fight is right now. So we can worry about the other stuff. Yeah, we can worry about the other stuff later. But yeah.
Yeah, because Dr. Tanya, she got a double blessing. Not only she got the school, she picked the same school and the same sorority. I'm like, she made sure she did. Whatever seeds you was planted, they planted well.
Yeah. Yeah, my parents attempted that because I went to Grambling too. My mom and my daddy, my mama pledged Alpha Theta and Grambling, and my daddy pledged Gamma Psi. And so her thing was, I know you coming through my chapter. I was like, you have to come and get them first. You have to come get them together. So yeah, it was in due time.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna switch this a little bit, but I'm gonna go to Seth on this one. Okay, so Seth, we talked about the kids. How important is it? How important is it that someone you're dating, does it matter if they're in the Greek life or not?
It don't matter.
It don't matter? Okay, that is not the answer I was expecting. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna put that back into the group for those that are married, dating, whatever the circumstance. Did it matter to you whether or not the person that you were dating or going to marry, that they were in Greek life or not? Did it matter what organization?
It matters to a certain extent.
Okay.
They don't necessarily have to be involved in Greek organizations, but they have to be involved in some type of organization that demands discipline and participation. I don't care if it's the usher board or the choir or you gotta be involved in something. You used to be a cheerleader. I don't care. You have to understand the organized events. So when I have to go and kick it with my frat brothers, or if I have a meeting, a dual meeting with the Sigmas and the Zetas, it's not just about, oh, you going out with girls. No, I'm going out with my sorors. They not girls. It's like having sisters, when you be like, oh, yeah, you out with some girl. No, I'm out with my sister. That's not the same thing, so they have to be able to understand that, you can't, and we hug, like COVID almost killed all the Black fraternities and sororities. We couldn't hug nobody. We had no handshakes. What? That's like taking out half our soul. You have to be able to deal with that person being active and being gone, or start participating. We don't care if you when we do community service, you can come. You're not being excluded from none of that stuff. Now, of course, you want them to understand, when you're going out with the fellas, you're going out with your bros, that's a bro thing. Nobody else going, it's just the bros. Now we do events where, spouses or other people can come along, and that's fine. But majority of the time, the bros just want to get together because a lot of them are married. And when they do get out, they just want to have some bro time, But we recognize the power of relationships, and we also promote Black unity as well, whether it's inter-Greek relationships or not. They got all of these different competitions, or divided households or whatever, so you see all of that. But it's all about understanding, actually. That's all it's about, being able to understand.
I'm still tripping off the usher board. Man, that's gonna be some
old
women.
Gotta be a part of some organization.
I'm thinking about a little old lady with a white dress on and some white stockings.
See,
I mean, like, Bobby, what are you doing? Are you okay?
Like see, look, I'm almost 50 now. So 50 ain't old. Now, back when I was younger, 50 was old. Now I'm almost 50.
Yeah, we are young.
50. So them ushers look like us now. They don't look like.
No, they don't.
Well, it depends on what church.
Now,
depends on what church.
TT Shirley's on there.
Yeah, that's
majority
true.
of them look like us.
Anybody else have thoughts on this topic?
Older people gonna get you for that.
Let me just put a disclaimer. The thoughts and views expressed on this podcast are not.
I'm sorry.
Might get us in trouble.
We need to see if we can edit that.
Why you had to go to the age? Why you had to do that?
I'm sorry.
I'm still on the white stockings. I'm still on the white stockings.
She put the whole image out there.
Can't you visualize that? Because yes, when he said it, that's what I'm visualizing.
He didn't say ushers. He said the usher board. I think that's what age did.
Yeah, you got to be on the usher board.
Yeah.
I didn't say the motherboard, okay? I didn't say the motherboard or the deaconess. I said the ushers. I was giving them a little grace. That's an age range. Mother's board, you already know, just 60 to 70 to 80.
Right.
Usher board can be 20 to 60.
That was. I wasn't ready for that shit, but I wasn't ready.
That's Stacy, man. She done put the uniform out there and everything. Let them ladies wear their comfortable shoes.
Oh, I forgot about the shoes.
Them shoes are attractive.
The shoes come with the stockings. The shoes come with
those shoes was attractive. I found those shoes highly attractive when I was coming up.
Oh God!
You gotta give it to them. They have been consistent in their attire for many, many years. So
yes, and Stacy, you can't forget the spitting the gum out with that now.
Oh, they put that hand right in front of your face. Spit it out.
Right. Why you gotta put it so straight in my face?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Look, Seth don't know nothing about this.
I know Seth is like, this is way over my head. I'm just gonna let them
know.
I grew up in church. I know.
Okay.
He saw them white shoes too.
Oh, look at the white shoes. Look at the white. All right, I'm gonna try to get us back on track.
Yeah, please help me, Dr. Jannis. Help me. We digressed big time.
For real, we're trying to go full circle. But I think much along the lines of what you were saying, Bobby, is that I don't know. I can't say that it matters per organization because even within the organizations themselves, there are individuals, and so there are. I primarily value somebody who shares similar values as mine, because the stuff that I do, when I'm in it, I'm like running for real. So it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody who is in a traditional, or what we call like a sister or brother organization, but just somebody who has a similar level of commitment to the stuff that I'm doing. It helps if the person is familiar with Greek life, especially on a postgraduate level, because then they understand that it's not just about the step shows and the letters and the para, but they understand like the real investments of D9 organizations into our communities and scholarship. So yeah, it's not so much the organization, but it's individuals. Now, there are some individuals who belong to a specific organization that I've had some just external experience, trends, just like, wow, that might make me want to run in opposite direction sometimes when I see them coming. But other than that, I recognize as people who exist in those kind of, who have those types of personality traits, who could belong to any group. So it really is about the individual and somebody who understands why does she go so hard with the stuff that she's doing and is able to support what my efforts are, as opposed to try to be a competitor with that. So you got to understand why Boule costs this much money, and there is a conference that costs this much money, and does everything have to be pink and green? No, not all of it, but a lot of it will be. So if we got to fight on that kind of stuff, then yeah, it's cool. You want blue and white over here? We got your blue. That's cool. I can support you in your blue and white and all of this. But at the same time, yeah, as long as it's there, if there is room to be connected around the stuff that matters, then the other stuff ain't that big.
I tell you, I don't know, Catrice, if you remember this, but a few years back, the girls thought they talked about me because I stopped talking to somebody because they didn't tell me Happy Founders Day, but they didn't quite understand the reason behind it. But it wasn't the point of actually saying Happy Founders Day, but it was the point of, okay, if you don't know what it's about, then maybe you need to try to find out. Take the interest enough to find out what it is, and not just, blow it off like it's nothing. Because if it's something that's important to me, then I think that you should find out what it is and what it's about. And I agree with like Bobby said, you got to have some kind of life of your own too, to where you have to understand that when I need to go do stuff, that you're not sitting at home like when she coming home, or was why she ain't answering the phone. You got to have a life too, so that you can have your time to do the things that you need to do with whoever it is, and understand when I have to have my time as well. So.
All right. Well, that was an interesting question and answer session
over there.
right there.
Nothing. Where is Troy?
I don't have a preference. I think it's helpful. I like to have a female that was Greek, but it don't have to be. And I mean, it helped me be more understanding of the Greek life by being a member. But no, I don't require it.
Okay. All right. Well, I got one more question before we start wrapping it up. Dr. Jannis, you kind of started us down this path, mentioning or name dropping some of the important people that have been in your organization. So I would love to hear from someone who may not know some of the more famous or important people that have graced your organization's role. If you guys would maybe each take a moment and clue our audience into, what are some of the people they may know out there in the world, or may not realize are members of your organization, and in the past, currently, do some name dropping around here. Okay. Bobby, let's start with you.
We got Huey P. Newton.
Oh, he came strong. He came in.
We got Bill Clinton. Wild Bill. Wild Bill. You always got to throw Bill in there. Richard Sherman. Yes. Blair Underwood. Wayne Brady.
Okay.
I mean, it's a lot of Jerry Rice.
Football legend.
Man, it's a lot of them out there. A lot of these young comedians that's coming out right now are Sigmas. Like King Bach and his little crew, all of those guys. I forgot the other one's name, but it's quite a few of them in their little group that are Sigmas. But yeah, we got a lot. Oh, the guy that just went to the freaking moon again. The naval officer that's on NASA, he's a Sigma. He was all up in space.
Oh,
throwing the Sigma up on the International Space Station. Thank you very much,
y'all
sir.
taking it outside the
we is
universe.
out of the world, out of this world, doing our thing. So, saying what's up, sending a shout out to the aliens, the other people in blue. But yeah, so quite a few famous people, but yeah, if you get a chance, please just go and look it up. And all of these different organizations, man, there's a lot of famous people because a lot of the Greeks coming out of HBCUs, but also PWIs as well. You had a lot of tremendous and successful people, surgeons, military cats, that have gone through and became, powerful leaders or in Greek organizations. So it's definitely something to check out and have people check out, because you just never know what's these people background. And normally when, I really don't look at it as, I love my fraternity. Don't get me wrong. I do love my fraternity, but I love all of these fraternities because when I was a president, I got a chance to see how these operations, these organizations operate. And it's one of the blessed things in the world, because all of them are based on similar principles. And when you have similar principles, then you can see where it can align. Ain't nothing like being able to get 9 organizations or 10 organizations together for one common goal. And that is a hard thing to do. Believe me, I've tried and I've failed more times than I've succeeded. But the times that I have succeeded were very impactful and powerful. So when you can get that many people together on one page for a common goal, anything is possible. So shout out to all my Greeks, sororities and fraternities, man. I love y'all, no matter what color.
I love it. I love it. And I just want to clarify, we're speaking about famous people, but there are so many people in y'all's organizations that don't get, they're not famous, but they're doing awesome things. Awesome stuff, for the social media world, it'd be interesting for them to know, kind of in other areas, whether it's entertainment or just sports, where some of your sisters and brothers, that they're, who they are. So I definitely don't want to focus on just the famous, because everybody's doing something behind the scenes, but it's interesting to see people who we see on TV or see in these different arenas, and to know that they probably got a lot of the traits that got them where they're at today because of what they learned and from, where they started with these organizations. So anybody else want to share some names, do a little name dropping?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, great choice.
Yes. I'm live.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Montel Jordan.
Okay.
I know y'all know Montel. Whitman Mayo. You probably don't know him by that name, but you probably know him as Grady Wilson on Sanford and Son.
Wow.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Right. He actually taught school at Clark, Atlanta. He taught drama at Clark in Atlanta for the people on the East Coast. I know y'all out there in Texas. Also we had Cedric the Entertainer.
Okay, didn't know that.
Kappa. Nephew Tommy. I know y'all probably listen to Nephew Tommy.
I know who that is.
I think he went to Prairie View.
DB.
Who else? Mike Tomlin, the head coach of the Pittsburgh
that's
Steelers.
My team, Steelers. Okay. Yeah, y'all legitimate now. I'm just playing.
But it's just so many, It's just so many to go through. We out there.
All right. Dr. Tanya, I think you had some name dropping you wanted to do.
Yes. Our past national president, Cheryl Underwood.
Oh, I did not know that.
Our past national president, Barbara West Carpenter, but she is currently the Louisiana State Representative.
Okay.
And we also have Dionne Warwick, Celine Johnson, Shaka Khan, Ian Bisbee from The Sound of Blackness.
Yes, know who that is.
Former U.S. Congresswoman Donna Edwards.
Yes.
Vivica Fox. Zora Neale Hurston and
that's one of my favorite authors. Oh, wow.
And Esther Rowe from Good Times.
Oh, well, she had her list together. Okay. All right. Dr. Jannis, you want to throw any other names out there? You gave some great names when we were talking on another topic earlier.
I do. One of my favorite people in history is Maya Angelou. And in my mind, she was my godmother. So I'm trying to, some of her characteristics. She's got Rosa Parks, of course, Kamala Harris, the current vice president, Ava DuVernay. And I understand Ava actually pledged to graduate. She wasn't an honorary. All three of the scientists who were part of the Hidden Figures group.
Really?
Yeah, all three of them were AKs. Yeah. And I'm trying to think. I'm trying to steer away from folks who are honorary, but our immediate past Supreme Basilisk was, you talk about people who've been making a difference, who might not necessarily kind of be that popular amongst the mainstream, but Dr. Glenda Glover, who was the president of Tennessee State.
Okay.
And in terms of Black women making major moves in higher education and kind of setting precedents, what that gets to look like, haven't had the opportunity to come in during her tenure and see how her business acumen translated from what she's doing with AKA to what she's doing at Tennessee State, to the impact that she's been having overall with what funding and education opportunities look like for HBCUs, period, which is real close to my heart. It's been like, wow, y'all ain't having this conversation, but she's over here doing the work. So yeah, it's a couple of AKs in the mix who are doing some stuff. You might not always see the pink and green sticking out, but yeah, it's a lot of us out there.
Okay. Seth, you want to add on? You want to show, you want to add on to what was already put out there?
Penny Hardaway, Colin Kaepernick, Bill Russell.
Wow. Okay. Okay, Stacy, I'm gonna let you bring it home. What you got for the Deltas?
Man, we got Lena Horne, Angela Bassett, Cicely Tyson, April Ryan, let's see, who else? Aretha Franklin, Kay Michelle.
Awesome.
Natalie Cole.
Okay.
You can't leave out my friend Joy Reid.
Oh yes, some Joy Reid.
Yes, Joy Reid too. I forgot about Joy Reid.
Let it sit too, y'all. Yeah, they new in the mix, but yeah.
I love it.
Roberta Flack.
Wow. Every one of these organizations are.
Oh yeah, Rick James was a Sigma too. Rick James.
Slick Rick.
Don't sleep on Rick James.
Oh, Rick James.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wilt Chamberlain.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, y'all have made this such a awesome conversation. We have been talking for quite a while. So I think what we want to do now is kind of give each of you a chance to help close us out. If there's any passion project you want to tell our audience about, if you're in business, we want to promote your business. If you have an organization you want to shout out, or if you want to just leave the CNG fam with some words of wisdom, or anyone who's contemplating joining an organization, any parting words? We're just going to go around the screen and just give you each a chance to kind of tell our audience a little something, and then we're going to close it out. So I say we'll start with our youngest, Seth. Anything you want to end with? Anything you want to promote that you got going on?
I'm promote my clothing brand. So I have a clothing brand I started in high school, my senior year, and it's called Truly Gifted. We all have a God-given gift, no matter how big or small. It's your responsibility to put your gift to use. Our gift from God is our gift, and what you do with that gift is our gift back to God.
I
And
love
the
it.
website, I got Instagram, Facebook.
Okay, we're gonna make sure that we put each of y'all's information as we go through here on the screen and share it with our viewers. That's awesome. I love
Make
to
sure
see
y'all
my
get y'all's
young
truly
people
gifted.
with that entrepreneurial spirit. Yes.
Yes, make sure y'all get y'all's truly gifted. I got mine.
Okay. All right. Next, let's go to Bobby.
Oh, not really doing anything personal. I've got a couple of investment ventures going right now, but other than that, not really doing. I do a lot of community service through this organization called the Help Program, and
Okay.
it does a lot of disaster relief stuff for North Louisiana and some stuff here in Dallas as well. I think like a couple of years ago, Louisiana got hit with a huge tornado, and we filled up like uh, 3 truckloads of water and toiletries and food and stuff, and took it down there in order to help out the community. So we do like different events like that. We also do like fundraisers to help go and donate food to homeless shelters and stuff like that. So basic same little principles that we do with Sigma. It's the same thing I do on a personal note. I'm on the board of directors for the Help Program.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, please share that information so we can share it with our group, and I'm sure they would love the additional support and help. So we'll get that out there.
All
Okay,
right.
Dr. Tanya, anything you want to leave us with? Any information or what you got going on?
Oh, yes, I co-authored a women's devotional with Twyla Reed, and the devotional is filled with godly habits. So it's entitled His Destiny, Her Purpose.
Okay.
So, and it has different habits that women want to live by to reach the destiny that God has set for you.
Okay, that
You
is
find
awesome.
It's on Amazon.
Okay, we're going to share that Amazon link with our team, our group. That is awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Dr. Jannis?
Okay, I'm fighting with the mute button. Hey, so I'm a clinical psychologist, as I mentioned, and my primary focus across the board has been mental health education and being able to increase access to quality services for primarily us, African-American populations. So there are a couple of different things that I do, but one of my major pushes right now in area of expertise is Black women's mental health. And so I've done a couple of workshops and presentations and things of that nature. But what I do have coming up is a Black Girls and Boundaries retreat. It'll be scheduled for the 24th of February. Stacy came to the workshop. Workshop was smaller and informative, but the retreat is the work. It's a half day of the actual work. And the goal, in the interest of trying to help to introduce our community to what what mental health is, how it affects us specifically, because our reality is not everybody else's, what is what we should be looking for, how we can actually access help, and introduce people to the process in a way that would allow us to be supported while we work on our own stuff. And my website, there's a bunch of information that you can get from my website. And as far as workshops, presentations, that kind of stuff is concerned, there's a whole bunch of stuff that'll be forthcoming in the beginning of this year. But I can be reached, and you can kind of follow what's happening through my website. It's drjannismoody.com. In addition to the Dr. Jannis Moody, there's a Facebook page as well as an Instagram page, and the YouTube is forthcoming coming. So yeah, just the tips on what you need to do to take care of yourself, because all the stuff we do for everybody else, all of that stops if you can't take care of you first.
That is near and dear to us. Our very first podcast that we ever did was on mental health.
Yes, it
So
was.
that you talking to my
Yes.
soul right there. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna round it out with the gentleman. We're gonna get you to Stacy. Don't forget, I ain't forgot you, but we're gonna round out the gentleman with Mr. Troy. Anything you want to say in parting?
Other than I have an Airbnb down here in Augusta, Georgia.
Okay,
In case you ever over this way.
let's promote it.
Have the Masters golf tournament here, which is I think the largest golf tournament they have here in Augusta at National Hills. But other than that, I'm just doing my thing.
All right, anybody that's gonna be at the Masters, we already got a place for you to camp out. We'll share your Airbnb information. Okay.
And also,
Right.
I would
Better
like
get early though.
Troy, also, I would like for you, since Seth is new to the game, do you have any advice or any suggestions that you can tell somebody that's new to the game, to the Kappa land?
No, just mingle, get to know people. Always reach to other bros. Everybody's be sure to give you a hand. With anything as far as job opportunities. I know I'm a long way from you in Augusta, but if you ever come this way, I retired from the federal prison. I'm now doing state probation parole. My neck is law enforcement, at least for the last 30 years. So, but anything you need, any job opportunities, like I can reach out to somebody that you may not know. I mean, just make sure you network with people, and somebody always be there to help you, especially within the Greek community as well. Not necessarily Kappa, but other Greek organizations help other the Divine Nine as well. So just stay networking. Always get to know people. Take their number, take their name, and just always keep in touch.
And just to add on to that,
That's all I have.
the resources don't work unless you use them. Always reach out, and like he said, don't just depend on your brothers. It's plenty of people out there with like mind like you that's in different fraternities that can help you fulfill your dreams and your goals the same way. So don't just always get caught up on your fraternity. Look to those out external. I think we should all have friends in each of these different organizations, because it's easy to find people with like minds that can move around. But again, utilize your resources, get involved, look at the political landscape around your fraternity as well, and then also look at your regionals and your nationals. The earlier you start doing that, the more inside information you're going to get, and the quicker you can move around in your fraternity with power. Because the point of this is to utilize that power source that is our Black culture. So utilize it to the fullest extent.
Great words.
That's good. That's good. I appreciate that, y'all. That's really good. Thank y'all.
Stacy, before I make you come back to being a co-host, anything you want to promote or any words of wisdom you want to throw out there?
Of course, I want to promote my book, of course.
I was hoping you would catch that hint.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, a year or so ago, I wrote a book, and I have a couple of other contributing authors as well. And together we came up with a book called Step in My Shoes. And it's basically a self-help motivation book. There's some chapters and topics that are talked about in the book that I feel are topics that we tend to struggle with. And I feel like, sometimes we don't know all the answers, and we don't have the answers. Sometimes there are some people that don't want to ask for help and don't want to ask for the answers. So we just kind of talk about these topics in the book in hopes that some people can get some of the answers that they need to some of the struggles that they're going through. And I'm also in the process of trying to write a second book, trying to reach out to see if I can get some male authors that want to contribute to the second book. So in hopes that that one also can reach out to males, because sometimes, of course, guys have questions and they are not as vocal as women, and they don't like to ask for help. So if we can get some guys with some powerful stories that can help somebody out there if they're going through struggles and going through some stuff, and maybe if they can just pick up the book and just read and learn about how did this person get over this struggle that they were going through. What was the outcome? What did they do? How did they, maybe it's just you just never know how your words can impact somebody else. So that's my main focus, is to try to reach as many people as I can, especially people, like I said, because for us, our suicide rate is really, really, really getting high. And it's growing with Black men as well. And so if we can reach some of these people that don't like to reach out, don't like to ask for help, if they just have a source or something that they can go to kind of say, hey, and you just never know what, it could be a simple sentence. It can be a simple word that can just help somebody, to kind of say somebody's on the edge, and just something that you may say can help them to get through what they're, because everybody is going through stuff. Everybody has gone through stuff. And you'd be surprised at the people that have gone through some of the same things that we have gone through. So, and some way we got through it, somebody else may not have gotten through it. Somebody else may be struggling to get through it.
Right.
So, and that's my goal, is to try to reach out and help as many people as I can.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
With that, I personally want to thank each of you for enriching us tonight with your information, your thoughts.
You're
welcome. It was so enlightening, for one, who now I'm very jealous that I'm not in an organization. But I will say I have been blessed to have so many women and men in my life that have been in various organizations, and it has always stood out to me how you guys show up for each other. Always. And that is a quality that you don't always find. So I'm gonna give each of you a hand, and your organizations a hand. Throw some hands up to the ceiling. Y'all are awesome. And I know that many people are going to be blessed by this information, and you guys could have a great impact on people coming up and that are thinking about whether they should or should not. So we thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedules and joining our Coffee and Gumbo family. And with that, we are going to close out. So as we always say at the end of our time, take a little time and take care of yourself. Take great care of yourself.
And in the process, don't forget to take some time to love on somebody else.
All right. Amen. Hallelujah. I can't get the usher board lady out my head. Lord, help me. Okay, y'all. With that one, peace.
Right, y'all.
Peace, y'all. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching Coffee and Gumbo. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Come back soon for more hot, spicy, and flavorful conversation.